What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Welcome to the Rush Hour. The answer to the thumbnail is no. Will the Bills remain undefeated? Absolutely not. I didn't think the Bills would go undefeated all season. Heck, they're going to lose some games, but to lose in the fashion they did. And man, I got a lot of negative things, and I'm not usually that type of guy. But I'm done with saying, it's only one. I know some people are going to come in, they're going to be like, it's only one game. One game matters. One game matters. And when you play a team that you're supposed to be equal to or close to, you should put up a much better effort than that. So, Jake, first of all, joining me tonight before we'll give some people some time to join. Joining me as always, Jake Podger, Barbie Dow, Buffalo Barbie Dow, Jessica, and of course, nobody cooler than Sean Cooler from the Red, White, and Bills. Brutal loss. Mr. Podger, let's start with you to kick it off, man, because I mean, I don't know what to say at this point.
Yeah, a nice serving of humble pie tonight, if you will, right? It's this was tough. I hate doing shows after a loss because, the last three have been so darn good. You're excited coming off a big win, and there's not a whole lot of positives to take away from this one. It was an embarrassment on a national stage, and this is the issue, right? Now you're going to have all the haters come back out. We get a little bit of hype. People are saying maybe the Bills are the best team in the NFL. And then we come out, we have a performance like this against a team that we could really make a statement win against. And it's just an absolute kick in the pants, man. Tough.
Yeah, I mean, Jake, we got some help from the Broncos today. They knock off the Jets. They're 2-2. Can you imagine we win this game? Got a 2-game lead in the AFC East. And Sean, Jake's being a little nice like both of us usually are, but come on, man, bring some heat. Talk to us, man.
We will once we get into it, but man, it was just a horrible day. Like I get one cheat meal a week, and I was like, I want pizza today. It's a night game. We don't have many primetime games left. Let me order pizza. And I got some wings. And again, I live in Utica, New York. The wings are always hit or miss. It's not like Buffalo. So I get the 20 wings and a small pizza. I asked for blue cheese and hot sauce. They didn't give me the hot sauce or the blue cheese. The pizza was trash, and the wings were horrible. So not only was that happening, and I ate all of it anyway, my stomach hurt the entire night. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's maybe watch a good football game. And, of course, it wasn't a good football game. And, again, we're going to get into that. But, man, just an embarrassment, a complete beatdown. Yeah, they're a fantastic team. We all knew that. And, us as fans, we knew there was a lot of football left to play. And one game does not make a team great or bad because we could have won today. We could have beat the Texans. We could beat the Jets. And then you lose 6 in a row. So it doesn't matter what you did the first 6 weeks. But after you beat someone 47-10 and you come out and you put out a pitiful display on every facet of the game, including coaching, it's just, man, I mean, I was really mad, but then I'm still mad. But then I saw Josh laughing with Derrick Henry after the game, and I said, I forgot. Fans care more than players do. So if he doesn't give a shit and he's laughing after they got blown out, maybe I can calm down a little bit. So, I'm a little, less angry than I thought I'd be because I saw Josh laugh and it pissed me off even more a little bit. But then I'm like, yeah, if he doesn't care, I'll take a little chill pill.
Sean, you did say, I think you said it on the Ruther show yesterday, that there are going to be some stinker games. You use that word stinker, which I've never heard you use before, but it truly was a stinker game. And let's get it out of the way, Jessica. I mean, like Jake said, all the haters are going to come back out after this great start. And in the Discord, you were on the AFC East Summit show Tuesday saying you weren't concerned at all about Derrick Henry, and they were chirping in there. I'm glad you guys didn't have to worry about Derrick Henry. What went wrong, Jessica? The first play of the game, you pretty much changed the game immediately. And what the heck happened?
It was a cluster beep. It was just horrible. They weren't prepared. They were not prepared for what Baltimore was coming at them with. They felt like they were just coasting in, just going 80% like they'd gone for the first 3 games, and everything would turn out great. They didn't know that they were in for a knife fight tonight. And by the time that they realized that they were in a knife fight, then the murder was over with. Yes, they got murdered. And after the trick play went bad, Buffalo gave up. That was the end of it. And I don't blame them. Get out of there. Don't have any more injuries. Save it for the Texans next Sunday.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the deep dive into the trick play now and skip ahead a little bit?
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Let's
Listen, Whalinator, appreciate you joining us tonight, brother. Always a pleasure to see you out there. Yeah, he's spot on with this. This is really the game changer, right?
Yeah, like it's the third quarter. Our defense finally shows up, forces a 3 and out. We get the ball back. We drive down the field. We get a touchdown, 21-10. We make another stop, 3 and out. Get the ball back. We're driving down the field, and then not only was the play dumb and unnecessary, you had Josh Allen line up on the sideline. Yeah. And the receiver run at him. What did you think the play was? I knew that as soon as I saw Josh Allen over there. I said,
everyone knew.
He's going to toss it over to Josh. They're going to try to throw a pass with Josh afterwards. Kyle Hamilton knew it from the beginning, and then again, Kyle Van Noy comes from behind, hits Josh's arm from behind, which caused an injury in previous years. And then not only does that happen, Metabike absolutely blasts him, and he pounds his head on the ground, which wasn't even a flag. And then all of a sudden it's 28-10. So let's just say we got 3 points out of that. It's 21-13. You make a stop. Then it's 21-20 maybe. Or regardless, you're close. Instead of that, now you're getting blown out by 18 points. And then the momentum switched back to Baltimore. And, it was a completely unnecessary call because we were moving the ball well. So what was Joe Brady thinking? Why now out of all times would you call a trick play? And not only call a trick play, but the most obvious one that probably even Jonah saw coming. He's 11 years old. He probably saw that play and was like, I know what they're doing. Like I don't understand. Brady needs to answer. Obviously, he's not in a hot seat or anything, but he needs to get pressed real bad by McDermott and media and stuff because that was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wump Donkey coming in saying the same thing. I want to say hi to the folks in the chat. Chad Chief, thanks for showing up. We really appreciate you guys. Definitely need some love tonight. But Alex, you're absolutely right with what you just said. Mad Chatter, he said, you know what? I thought this morning Josh and Bills were due for their every 1 in every 4 game crap show. Well, wish you could have told us ahead of time. Maybe told them as well that they need to turn it up a little bit. Weston, thanks for joining us. Wump Donkey, of course. Thank you again because you said the same thing. That call, though, when we had momentum to possibly make it 21-17 was absolutely horrible call. I give it to the Ravens, though. Bills didn't come prepared. And the other thing about that play, like you said, Sean, I thought he was. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to be done. He's injured. Josh Allen. I mean, the way he hit that arm,
it looked bad. It was
just bad all around. Kincaid got hurt on the play. It was just a horrible play call, 100%. Right, Jessica? Yeah. I mean, what'd you think of that?
It was just horrible. It was designed poorly. They let the penetration come in quickly. Josh was supposed to run behind Samuel and get beyond him, but he was cut off by the player in between them. And so he couldn't go all that way. And so it was dead then. It's not going to get any better. And he tried to make something out of nothing. He should have just threw the ball as soon as he got it and threw it out of bounds as a broken play. But he trying to make a play, and it cost us.
Yeah, Jake, Curtis Samuel, where the heck's he been? When we heard all this, camp talk, and he's got speed. He's one of the fastest guys on our team. Yeah. Not utilizing that whatsoever. What's happened with him? Where's he gone? And then, I mean, MVS was targeted once, I guess. Looking at this, I don't even remember when that happened. Honestly, I was like, man.
End of the game when Trubisky was in.
Was it? Oh, my God, how sad that is. I'm like, can somebody try to throw deep, take the top off this defense here? And but, dude, Curtis Samuel, like I said, early on in the season, before the season started, everyone's like, we're going to move him around. We're going to have so many plays for him. Not true. But Khalil Shakir continues. By the way, Khalil Shakir breaks a record. 30 consecutive targets, 30 consecutive catches. That was back at the end of last season, continuing into this season. And honestly, that one that he did miss was not his fault. It was just they were all over him. So pretty cool. 30. If you're looking for any positives in this game, and Khalil Shakir again had another nice game, even after he got injured. And that play from Josh Allen rolled to the right that found him. It's probably the highlight of the game for the Buffalo Bills, honestly.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, there's not so much good stuff to talk about. But I'll throw it to you, the trenches, Sean. You're a trench guy.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the trench. I mean, I kind of passed over you, Jake. I was looking for you to talk about Curtis Samuel, but obviously, sorry.
No, it's fine. Listen,
all over the
I think
place.
it's already spoken for.
Yeah, exactly.
The utilization's not there. I don't get it.
Yeah. Let's go to the trenches, Sean, because they were beat up on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. So with the D line, it was what I feared preseason. And again, I joked around that I was going to take a victory lap tonight. And what I meant by that was I said, we can't stop the run. We can't stop 3rd and long. We can't the penalties, those kill you. And then the pass rush. I thought, it was nice to see us, beat up on the bad offensive lines. And, going into this game, their starting left guard was out. They had to put the rookie right tackle in. Their right guard, who's been a transitional guard, hasn't been good all year. And then you got your right tackle going to play left guard. It was a merry-go-round for an offensive line that was struggling all year, and we couldn't get home with 4. And then we had to start blitzing. And then at the end of the day, they just got absolutely worked, and it was disappointing. And on the offensive side of the ball, for the most part, it was okay. I'll have to watch the film, but they had to bring blitzes all over the place because we have a good offensive line. And when they're bringing all the blitzes from all different angles, it was just confusing for everyone involved, running backs, tight ends, linemen. And at the end of the day, we didn't have an answer for it. And that falls on coaching too. Even if they bring 7 and you got 7 blockers, if they're coming from different angles, it's all on when you call the protections out. So again, I'll be doing the film again, like I do every week. It was probably their worst week, but again, when you have to force a defense to always bring blitzes because they respect your O-line, it says a lot, but still you got to be able to respond on those. There was running backs missed a couple blocks. There was one sack. Torrance and Brown both got blown up, and it resulted in a sack. So again, it wasn't good all around. But I mean, they gave Josh a lot of time, most of the plays. But at the end of the day, my problem was overall, we did what we did in the first 3 weeks for the first 2 drives, and then we stopped. We stopped doing motion. We stopped running the ball with James Cook. James Cook will get a run for 5 yards. They take him out. And they put Ray Davis in. He get no gain. Like, why are you just not feeding James Cook when he was hot? And then now you're just throwing deep balls the entire game. That's not our style of football anymore. We got rid of that, I thought we got done with that with Diggs and Davis gone. Now all we're doing is chucking balls up to Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid in double coverage. Like, you were down. I know you were down, but stick to what you believe in. Stick to your method. And then, do the short passes, bring the safeties down, hit the intermediate ball, keep running with James Cook. It was doing okay, but they got scared when Henry had that 1 carry for 87 yards. Then we didn't score the first drive. Then they scored, and then we got a 3. And it was just we didn't have answers for it on the defense. And then the offense started playing out of character. And, just like I said, when we made the Jags and the Dolphins play bad, the Ravens made us play bad. It wasn't because we just didn't show up, and they made us that way, and it was a disappointing, embarrassing.
We weren't heavy enough on the defensive line to stop them at all. We needed a 3rd linebacker, as far as I'm concerned, and go man to man, and they didn't do it. And I don't blame them. Nickel has been working all year long. I'm sure they didn't even prepare for it, but now they know what can possibly happen to them. So I hope they have that built into their repertoire on the defense if it's needed.
Absolutely. And I know, Jake, you probably want to say something, but before you go real quick, this is where I've been saying for years, you need an actual nose tackle. Like, Daquan Jones and Oliver are beasts, but like you got to have a true one tech that can actually eat up lanes and bodies, and then guys like Ed Oliver, and you can run, your 3 linebacker sets and run lanes. But we can't do that because obviously we didn't have Teron Johnson today, but we run nickel because of him, and it's a very susceptible defense to run. And then you don't have a nose tackle who's a huge body that can take up two people in 2 lanes, 2 gaps. It makes it tough because then you got to play bigger than you are, and they're just not. And it's I don't know how you feel, Jake, but that's how I always felt.
No, I was telling today, man, we needed that. We needed that true zero tech out there. Daquan Jones obviously can do a little bit of that, right? Like that's that's kind of his MO. But like, I don't know, a younger guy, just a big fat guy in the middle. I mean,
a Devondre Sweat, who we could have picked up.
I know. Just to clog up some space, we need something like that for a team like the Baltimore Ravens. Now, maybe for other teams we can get away with it, right? But I think if we do, come across the Ravens again in the playoffs, God forbid, AFC Championship, and we put out the same defense we ran today, it's going to be another repeat of what happened. But I do agree with what Jessica was saying, because the idea was to make Derrick Henry run east and west and not north and south. Well, guess what? He ran north and south all day on us today. And I think the lack of experience at the linebacker position, but also, they played like they were backups. It was very noticeable. Had Milano and Bernard been in there, maybe things are a little bit different. But there was definitely some miscues at the linebacker position today.
It felt like week 1 against the Jets last year.
Yeah.
In terms of Bernard not knowing exactly where to place everybody for the runs that the Jets were going against us. That's why Hall got released and had a big game against us. It felt like the same thing with Henry today.
Agreed. Yeah.
Jake,
Zach's out there. Listen, I may have actually screwed this up for all of us. So so Zach, for primetime games, most of the games we're going to his house and watching it at his bar. Okay. I did not go. So maybe I'll take a little bit of responsibility in this loss. This could have been caused by me not attending at his house. So I just want to put that out there. Hand up. Accountability is important. So I'm going to take accountability for my lack of actions.
Can we get 4 horses for a quarter game?
Yeah.
Right? Yep.
Hey, Sean. So I did see them bring in Morrow on one series. Like they went 3 linebackers. They didn't seem to stay with that too long. We even asked in our group chat that we had before the game. I kind of was asking, you think we're going to see 3 linebackers here? Definitely seemed like that would have helped. I like Jessica's idea of go man to man. I wasn't really worried about the receivers. I was more worried about the tight ends. Likely had a pretty. I mean, if he had a couple catches, but again, I wasn't really worried about that. I was like, their tight ends was what was scaring me the most. And of course, could we stop that running game playing that nickel? Obviously, we couldn't. And, I don't think we pivoted quick enough. And I just think that when you let that, first of all, I want a clarification. Sean, clarify for me.
Sure.
North and south versus east and west with Henry. It looked like he was going outside to me. So from my eye, I'm like, that's east and west. But you guys are saying north and south. What do you consider a north and south run?
Well, what it means is you don't want him to be able to run full speed out of the snap and hit a gap without anyone touching him. If you plug the gaps and he bounces into a brick wall, he has to bounce outside. He's slow. That's why he's 8 yards off the ball, whereas a normal running back would be maybe 5. He doesn't have a good acceleration. He's like an old truck. He needs to get that little kickstart first, and then once he hits the acceleration speed, then you're not catching him. But he has to get there first. So that first play, Rosengarten reached blocked Rousseau out of the play. There was one linebacker on the pulling guard, and then that was it. It was just he had to beat one safety, and he was to the races. He didn't get touched the entire time, and that's what we mean when you don't want him to be north and south. You want him to hit a wall. Obviously, he has to run north and south first, but then bounce to he sees the gaps close quickly. Then he has to make a quick step, and then you can get him. Because you saw that today, too. There was a lot of times when we did stop him. He either got 10 yards of carry or -3 yards because we did the right thing. But the problem was, and I mentioned it, too, like, obviously we did have some success against Henry in the past, and we had success against Lamar on their own. but them together, I was interested because I was like, well, you can try to run the traditional 4-3, try to stop the run, but then they're also like to do quick passes and get their playmakers like Justice Hill and Zay Flowers of football. And that's what happened. We brought in the third linebacker, and then they started doing that and beating us over the top too with wide open guys in the zone. And then they didn't want to stick with it. It was just like Jacksonville. The Jacksonville tried to play man on us. They tried to play 4-3. They tried to play 3-4. They tried everything, and it wouldn't work. And it was the same thing for us. We couldn't find an answer. And I think that first play of the game really, really screwed everything up. I think if we stopped them on the first drive, it could have been different.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of got freaked out, and then Bobby Babbage could have panicked. And obviously they made adjustments at the half, but yeah, it was just when you could stop Henry, they went back to the screens and the quick passes, which we couldn't stop either. And then there was a time, I think in the first half, they were getting like 12 yards of play, and it was you can't win football like that.
That 1-2-3 punch with Lamar, Henry, and Justice Hill. Oh my God, that dude is pretty damn fast, and it was just beating us left and right. My son was like, "What's the 40 time on Justice Hill, Dad?" I'm like, "I don't know, but he looks like he's the fastest dude that I've ever seen in my life."
He looked like lightning out there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know how fast he is. How fast can he go to bed tonight?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. I should have said that. All my fault, Dennis. Yes, I will take the blame again. I did. I was like, I felt comfortable with this game. I'm like, I feel good. I mean, we're in control here. I've seen what we did the first 3 weeks. This was a game that there was a lot of smack being talked back and forth, Discord, friends. But I was like, not talking smack. I'm just like, we got this. We got this. And boy, did the smack talk happen in our Discord. I don't know about you, Jake, but I was in that AFC. No, people were jumping into the Bills thread and talking all their smack. And these were AFC Summit guys. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you 2-2 Jets, don't be talking to me. And then Keith was throwing shade at Jessica. I had to defend her. I'm like, dude, don't act like you've never said something about your team. And I don't think we went in and blew you up. Maybe Sean has, but the rest of us, no.
Oh yeah, I'm completely out of the Discord because I don't shy away from conflict and roasting.
Yeah,
Sean goes head on collision.
But,
Josh Allen, boom.
Yeah,
fire Jake. Chad says. I mean, yeah, we should both be fired.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, it was just I got to take a little responsibility on this loss myself. We all weren't right tonight, and that's okay. We'll get back at it next week.
And I want to make it clear too. It's not that we weren't physical enough, because we were there for the challenge. We just didn't perform. We didn't do well enough. They weren't afraid to take on Pat Ricard. Like Dorian Williams, as much as he missed some plays, gave up a couple touchdowns, he wasn't afraid to bounce off of Ricard and try to make tackles, and he was hitting Henry hard. So it wasn't that we weren't physical, just like Baltimore is. They definitely are physical. It was just they were the better team tonight. And again, it doesn't mean that we're not a good team. It doesn't mean they're a better team. They're a better team that night. And if people want to say something in the Discord, just remember the Jets lost to Bo Nix and he threw 60 passing yards. So I mean, I feel like that's more embarrassing when you're 10-point favorites at home after that. So I mean, it is what it is.
I know Weston said this earlier. I just wanted to say something real quick to this. It's one game early in the season. I wouldn't worry too much. I kind of said that when we started the show. I'm like, look, I don't want to hear that. The reason I say that is because all these games matter. And it's not that the Bills are going to go undefeated. I predicted a 10-7 season, still making the playoffs. 11-6 would definitely get you in the playoffs. But it's the way we lost. I don't mind the loss. I'm not surprised we lost to the Ravens, but it should have been a lot closer. We should have been a much better game, and the outcome is what surprises me the most. Jessica, I know you had something to say.
I'm hoping that if we see them again in the playoffs, that we have Bernard, we have Milano, and we have Williams. And with all the experience Williams is getting right now, I think he'll be much better at covering, just as Milano is, and Bernard running the defense the way it needs to be, so that we can stop a heavy run team like the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
that's
totally
a good
agree.
point.
Puka.
Hey, Puka, it's been a minute.
Puka
I know,
looks
I
this
know.
perfect
Mhm.
meme or whatever you want to call that. It looks sick to his stomach. I think we're all sick to our stomach. Looks like you're about to throw up.
Mhm.
Bill's out coached. Did we get out coached, Jake?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Although, I mean, there were times that John Harbaugh looked like an idiot. The calling of the timeout after a timeout was already taken on the field. I mean, it happens. But
He had a
man,
senior moment, Jake.
he did. He definitely did. Yeah.
But yeah, it's and I like Mike said, so Jake was always a proponent of it's only one game. Brett is too. It's only one loss, and it is true. But it's when it's the same issues every single year and every single loss. That's when it's like it's not just one game because it's 8 years of sample size. The not stopping the run, the 3rd and 20s, the 3rd and 14s, the 3rd and 12s, the 3rd and 8s. You got to make those plays, and that's why you lose football games. Like they were probably like 80% on 3rd down before they took the starters out. Like you got to at least limit that to 40%, and it could be a whole different game. And then it's always that little plays. Coleman had I know someone brought it up earlier. Coleman had a couple really great catches, but that one he dropped was in a more pivotal time.
Beautiful ball
And
too.
It was a perfect ball. And did we need to go deep on that play? Probably not. But if he made that catch, I don't remember what the score was. It might have been, was that when it was 21-3? It was near halftime.
I think
That could have been a whole different thing. And again, he made. It was funny because I texted a friend. I said, "Why did we draft him again for 50-50 balls?" Right? That was a 50-50 ball, and he didn't catch it. And then he made another catch after that. I was like, I guess he really is 50-50. But no, he made some really great catches, but just that one that could have changed the momentum, but we didn't. And then again, it was just I don't know what Brady was thinking. It was completely out of character from the first 3 weeks, and I think part of it was they didn't have an answer for Kyle Hamilton. And I said in the pregame show, do what we did in the last 3 weeks where you use a other receiver to wash out a good player and then throw it to another player that's wide open, like we did constantly in the weeks 1 through 3. And then every time Kyle Hamilton was anywhere, we ran right at him, and then he made the play. Every big play, Kyle Hamilton was involved, and we didn't do anything to try to mix that up. And I don't know. It was weird. I just felt like it might not have been 100% different, but it felt different to me the way that he was calling the game.
That's a really good point about the safety thing too, because you look at the safeties that we played up against. I mean, some all pros, Buda Baker week 1. Then we had Javon Holland, obviously, with the Dolphins week 2, Jordan Poyer, you could say too. And then week 3, Jacksonville, they got a pretty good safety core. They got Cisco and I think Antonio Johnson's their other safety or something like that. Solid players. And then this week, of course, Kyle Hamilton. So we did a really good job in weeks 1 through 3 of being able to do what you said, Sean. And for whatever reason, didn't work out. But I'll say this. Like, to start the game off, we were moving the football well. Like, that opening drive, it was going pretty well. And then Dalton Kincaid drops that pass, 4th and 2. Then we kick it, which is – I hated that decision because I feel like at that point, like, you could have made a statement. You get another first down on 2 back-to-back 4th down conversions. Like, that would have been great.
Don't forget, Jake, two holdings on my offensive line, too, in that first couple drives. It kills drives.
That hurts, man.
The one on Brown was a little.
Yeah, that was suspect.
Yeah, it was.
Edwards got it was that one was bad, but Brown's could have been that could have not been thrown. It was more of he kind of got stuck, like his hand got stuck and he ripped it right out. That wasn't really holding, but they called it, so it's a penalty. But he's always the culprit. Whenever you're driving, he's always the one that gets the false start, gets the holding. So that's one thing he needs to work on. He got his play better, but now you're getting the flags in the worst times, and that's a drive killer, like you said. 15-yard penalty. So then you got Kincaid. When does he drop a pass? Apparently
I did want to say something though about that. They didn't show the replay, and I just hate when they don't do that. Yeah. The announcers were saying that was just thrown poorly by Josh. Now I know it probably hit his hands, but I don't know. I didn't have a clear view. I was hoping for the replay. It may not be Kincaid's fault. I'm just saying. So we need to watch the film to kind of check on that. For those that saying Coleman was the player of the game, I think it was more Shakir. But let's just say this: Coleman had 4 targets. He caught 3. And again, they were mostly 50-50 balls. And even the one that was perfectly thrown by Josh, there was a guy all over him. So, I wasn't surprised that it was right there, but he was battling all the way for that ball. The next few times he got the better of it. But of course, like Sean said, that would have been a huge momentum changer right there with him catching that. As would the, don't do the, I'm going to bring up the trick play about 5 times this show. Trick play. Why you trick play? You're moving. Like you said, Sean, they're moving the ball. Beat them straight up. Don't use this trick crap and almost hurt your quarterback for the rest of the season. But good stuff there, Puka. Yeah, he was definitely, showed his skills with those 50-50 balls for sure. Weston,
back shoulder.
Yeah. In all serious, though, how worried about Tyler Bass?
I'm still not. I mean,
it didn't matter.
Yeah, like he missed. It was a bad kick, but at the end of the day, he did make a 50-yard one today, and he crushed that one. So
yeah.
I think that makes up for missing the 48. But that play, the D-back came uncovered, so something went wrong. Josh might have not read the defense properly, or maybe the defensive coordinator saw, oh, we're in this formation, we got loaded to the left. They're going to send the DB on the right side, and then it just threw Josh off. Josh tried to make a play instead of just throwing the ball away. It was like 4th and 4. We could have went for it, but he tried to run away with it, and he got sacked for a 16-yard loss, and it's 4th and 20. You can't go for it on 4th and 20. You got to kick it. So again, and even if he made it, it's 28-13. We lost 35-10. So it was like Jacksonville fans were like, they showed the play when Kincaid got that touchdown when they thought Brown was holding. And they're like, they missed his holding call. And people are like, it was 47-10. So if they take that touchdown away, it's 40-10. What difference does it really make? So I do wish he made it, but at the end of the day, it wasn't like a do or die to me. Like it wasn't like a huge kick at the end of the day. I think the 50-yard one was a big kick, and he made it. So he's still in the good graces with me. But if it was 34-31, he missed that one, then yeah, that'd be.
Sean, I'm going to come back at you with this one because you're always like when Josh Allen throws his arm punts last year and it's intercepted, you're like, that's a big momentum changer. You can't do that. Listen, this game was 28-10 when Bass was about to kick the game. He's going to take it to a 2-score game, and you changed the momentum by missing that. Now I get it. The 50-yarder was cool. Yeah, all right, awesome. I was like excited, great. But not only is that a momentum changer in your own words, you're making it a 2-score game now. And so I am concerned. Yes, Wes.
Field position.
I'll meet you in the middle, Mike.
All right.
If it was 21-10, and Brady never called that dumb trick play that made it 28-10, and he missed it, then I'd give that to you. But because Brady ruined the momentum himself, and he put the defense in a bad situation, and
then put Bass in a bad situation.
That Bass was in a bad situation. That whole next series for each offense and defense, that was solely on Joe Brady. But again, I'll level with you and meeting you in the middle.
All right.
It was 21-10, and that trick play never happened, and Bass missed a field goal, and it could have been 21-13. Now I'm 100% concerned.
Yeah, Chad. I mean, it's going to be overshadowed by the fact that we lost 35-10. It is, but my concern when it comes down to a game where we're going to need him to kick it for, because most kickers these days, 55-60 is a no problem, it seems, and we're missing a 47, whatever it was. What is it? 48 yarder.
Plus, it was raining.
It was raining.
Oh, Jessica, with the excuses. Come on now. Come on, Sean. You're never
kicks in Buffalo
excuses.
though, so it's tough.
I
remember those 2 field goal kickers in New York this afternoon.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's very.
I'm sure he wishes he made that, Mike, but I don't know. I think I was
just talking to Scott Norwood tonight. He's got Scott on the hot dial, and he's talking to him. Scott's like, dude, I've never missed that many. I just
don't go wide right.
I might have missed the most important kick in the history of the Buffalo Bills, but I'm not missing those on a consistent basis like you are recently. So come on now. I'll get off of that. But hey,
Norwood could not hit a 50-yarder. I'm just saying. He was Dennis, 45 and in.
Yeah, so TJ, Taryn Johnson, Bernard, and
Taylor Rapp tonight.
Taylor Rapp tonight. The Bernard and Johnson will probably see in about 3 weeks. Bernard maybe a little sooner, but we'll see. But it's crazy because these 3 games were like plug and play. McDermott's so good, it put anyone in there. Well, it was exposed tonight, at least for one game. And Cam Lewis, where's Trek Review? I'm surprised he's not the first one out here.
I know, right?
Cam Lewis definitely had his worst game as a Buffalo Bill that I've seen. So I'll give that to you.
It's crazy because it wasn't even like it wasn't necessarily like the pass defense or anything like that. Because Lamar threw for 150 yards or something like that. They just ran all over us. Like at the end of the day, we weren't able to tackle anyone. And then on top of that, I mean, in the trenches, our D line was getting washed. Our linebackers were, not hitting the right holes. And it was a mess.
You know what I wish? I wish we never force AJ Epinesa to lose weight. Imagine having a 6'5", 280-pound defensive end who's fast, and then a 6'8", 250-pound Adonis-like defensive end. And then maybe if we, again, Ed Oliver's perfect where he is, and I like Daquan Jones, but if you're running nickel, you need a massive man who's athletic in the you got to have like a 330-pounder in the middle, and we just don't. And again, they do a great job, but when you play teams like this, again, they got extra linemen. They run with 6 linemen and Pat Ricard, who's a 7th. He was a defensive lineman converted into a fullback. So
I'll tell you what, that did fire me up. Listen, any team that utilizes the fullback in their offense gets me a little warm and fuzzy inside, right? So as much as I hated it, it was also a thing of beauty to just watch him go out there, be a lead blocker, and just do his thing.
So you need mass when you play a team like this, because, I mean, if they didn't run with a fullback and they didn't have an extra, they didn't run with 6 offensive linemen, you probably could have done a better job. But that's the problem, they do. So you got to have an answer for it.
And a 250-pound running back too on top of that. So it's like,
that's what I said in the show. I'm like, you got a breakthrough lineman, then you got a 300-pound fullback coming at you, then you got a 250-pound running back coming at you. So you got to. There's got to be answers, and we didn't have them. Even our D line was one of our strengths, I thought, the first 3 weeks, and they weren't able to play their brand of football because they were never able to really rush the passer because they just kept getting gashed. And I guess kind of exposed that they're not a great run defensive line, which I kind of figured.
And I think I did read this somewhere too. I mean, in general, the Ravens offensive line, they talked about how massive Daniel Falele is himself. He's like 380 pounds. Yeah. I mean, massive human being. I think the Ravens do have statistically right now the heaviest offensive line in football.
Yeah, they do. And, like I said, that was the thing we could have exposed because, again, even with Voorhees starting, they were struggling weeks 1 through 3, all around, except for Ronnie Stanley. Ronnie Stanley's a pro and been outstanding. But everyone else has been struggling, especially Falele. And but they looked better last week. But then you're still – Linderbaum's got a knee injury. Voorhees is out. So you're switching all this around, and you still couldn't do anything. They made some good plays, but it was too late at that point.
Yeah.
I want to give you a crazy next-gen stat that one of our Raven friends shared with us after that Henry touchdown. He said, per next-gen stats, Henry reached 21.29 miles per hour on that run. It's the 4th fastest speed by anyone who had the ball this season in the NFL. I mean, he's taken it to the house. We've had some good games against him, but he has taken it to the house against us a few times. And, everyone's saying he slowed down a little bit. I don't know. Next-gen stats prove that wrong.
I don't think so.
Goodness.
Yeah. He's leading the NFL in rushing yards. He looks about 5 years younger. I mean, this is the perfect fit for Derrick Henry. If he was to go anywhere else, Baltimore is the perfect spot for him.
Yeah. And a lot of teams could have had Henry because he only signed for $8 million.
Yeah.
So,
I know, right?
Gosh.
So there's no, nobody's fault but the rest of the NFL for letting the Ravens get them. And man, I mean, they're great. They were always a great football team. Like record be damned. But I already knew if we won, they would have said, "Oh, but the Ravens are 1-3, so you still didn't beat anybody. You got to see if you beat Houston now. You got to beat the Jets now." Like that's just how it goes because it's Buffalo. But they're a fantastic football team, and they always have been. It's more of like I have a lot of friends that are Ravens fans. A couple of them were at the game, I even texted him. I was like, I feel bad that they couldn't have challenged you better because you guys deserved a challenge and we couldn't provide that, and it's unfair and it sucks because I really thought we would have been. I didn't say win or lose. I just thought it'd be a 3-point game, and it was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath, and honestly, I was telling my other friend, this is a pivotal moment in the season at week 4. Are you gonna take a blowout and they change everything in team wise? Or are you gonna rebound and reflect off of this and go on a? So basically, are you going to be the 2021 Bills or the 2020 Bills? The 2020 Bills were the 13-3 Bills who lost the game and then they went on a big run. The 2021 Bills are the 11-6 Bills who had a big losing streak and they had to win a bunch of games. And again, you can say that for the 2022 and 2023 Bills because we went 13-3, 11-6, 13-3, 11-6. So which team are we going to be? And we'll find out. But man, a lot of concerning things. Was that the only one that thought the offense was just different? Like, I can't really explain it, but I think we didn't talk about it enough. Like, scheme-wise, it just seemed off.
They took away all of our passing lanes.
Mm-hmm.
They did not allow our players to run free like they've been running free the first 3 games. They got blocked down at the line of scrimmage, and they just didn't run free. They had that going, and then they were rushing, 5, 6, 7, 8, as many as they could, and they didn't give us a lot of time. They overloaded Brown and Torrance on that right side a few times, and that just broke things open.
Jake, listen to this. All right, it's easy to see how they beat us with Lamar and their running backs. Lamar had 13 of 18 passes, right? 13 were completed. 9 of them to his running backs. 9 of them.
Yeah,
6 to Justice Hill and 3 to Derrick Henry. The rest, I mean, I went into this game saying I'm not fearful of the receivers. Tight ends, yeah, but even their tight ends, Mark Andrews had that one drop and likely had that one catch. He was open. It was a great catch, but it was all about the running backs. 9 of the 13 to running backs. They averaged 8 yards a carry. I mean, just between Lamar and the 2 running backs, it's hard to take that in, but I mean, they beat us with the short stuff, the dump offs, and the running game, and we had no answer for it, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what the Buffalo Bills did against the Dolphins,
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. It's the exact type of game plan. Just, running the football effectively, and you're running so well that when you do throw, receivers are running wide open, and you have to respect the run game. So your players are playing up. Then you hit one, you're completing passes for 15 to 20 yards every time you do complete a pass. So yeah, they had a great method, and I'll echo what Chris Caldwell said: best 2-2 team ever, right? Right, Mike?
Yeah.
In our group chat, those guys are going off. They are loving this. We have 2 Ravens fans on the channel, Chris Caldwell and Rick used to do our fantasy football show, and they're just talking them up so much. Yeah, Chris mentioned 2-2, best 2-2 football team of all time. So I got to give him his flowers.
Jake, I called you Jack for some reason. Jake, you speak Zach. He's now just coming in with letters.
W. I think he just meant W take. I don't know whose take he meant that for, but yeah, I think that's what he meant. Or he might be falling. Oh, dog's on his phone. Probably bear.
I'm thinking you've got your own language. You guys have been good friends for many years. He just drops a W now, and you know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. What else you want to talk about, Jessica?
The inability to make the Ravens one-dimensional. It was, Sean McDermott is a good defensive coach.
Here we go.
And once he knew that he wasn't stopping the run, he needed to change until he stopped it. He never did. And that's, and if that's going to be the case, that he doesn't change when he knows it's not working and make them one-dimensional, well, we're going to be stuck in the same situation as we've always been.
Yeah.
Yes, Keith. Jessica ate her crow early on. I reminded her.
I'm so sorry.
That.
I was wrong.
At least she does.
She's wrong, dude.
Keith, you guys got to worry about your boogeyman Will Levis coming to town before you worry about Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what
That's
makes
right.
you feel good
Chad,
when
you're the
your
man.
team got their booties whooped, and that's Chad the Chief coming in with a $15 super chat.
Thanks, Chad.
That just made my night so much better. For the panel around the horn style, what team surprised you winning, losing today? We'll start with the ladies first. Oh, the lady, not ladies, lady.
The Broncos in East Rutherford going into the Jets home turf and winning by 10-9.
Incredible.
It was a horrible offensive struggle all day.
You know what I love most about that, though? That the whiny Jet fans, they can't blame Zach Wilson anymore for 10-9 losses. Because all I heard, if we have competent quarterback play, we're going to win a Super Bowl. We can compete with anybody. Is Aaron Rodgers a competent football player? I would assume so. And you lost 10-9. So I thought that was very, very funny. But, yeah, can't lose those games. Absolutely.
Rodgers does not have a fastball any longer. He's just chucking it in this sort of weather. He just doesn't have a fastball.
He still knows how to take
he
hits,
can still
though.
sling it. He just, in this type of weather, he had a really hard time moving around. I mean, that, so I think that definitely is a factor too. But yeah. I'll answer this question as well. I would say for me, how about them Colts? Let's talk about the Colts a little bit. Listen, they looked like a much better offense with Joe Flacco under the helm, which just goes to show how effective an older quarterback can be because he knows how to read a defense. Whereas Anthony Richardson, a little more raw, super freak athlete, right? And can do some crazy things. But Joe Flacco went 16 for like 26, 2 touchdowns, looked great. I mean, has some decent weapons on that offense. The Colts can get dangerous with him at the helm. And I don't think Anthony Richardson is going to miss any time, but that was definitely an intriguing victory to me.
Cleveland looked great with Flacco too.
Yeah.
And they look awful now.
I know. That was tough.
Sean, what game? Let's go around, finish this up for Chad here. What's the team that surprised you winning or losing today?
Well, it's hard because I wasn't surprised that the Vikings won, but I'm surprised how fantastic Sam Darnold looks. And it just goes to show what a great offensive-minded head coach can do for a quarterback and what a wide receiver one can do for a quarterback. He's got 11 touchdown passes in 4 games. Sam Darnold. And, that says a lot. I was also surprised with how the Texans performed against the Jags. And I know it's not a loss, but, when we beat the Jags, everybody said, oh, the Jags are a horrible football team. You're supposed to beat them by 40. How come the Texans didn't beat them by 40? They took a last-second touchdown to beat them. And, they're a division opponent and, blah, blah, blah. But keep the same energy. I was surprised because the Texans have the best weaponry in all of football. And they have not looked good all season, to be honest with you. So a little bit surprised about that game.
Yeah, we get them next week. My surprise was the Tampa Bay whooping Philadelphia. Just whooping them. My goodness. What's that?
The Fighting Bakers.
That's right. Yep.
And I will say Jordan Love was back. I think this was the first week he was back against Minnesota. And Minnesota had a huge lead, and they made a game of it for sure. But in the end, they fell short.
He looked so horrible. It was so great at the same time. 4 touchdowns, 3 picks, 400 yards passing.
Yeah.
You can't have a better, worse game.
I'll tell you what, Jaden Reed is an absolute stud, though. I mean, what a steal. I think they got him in round 3 of last 2 years ago, 2023 draft.
And Washington, too. They've been.
Oh, yeah, that was a big surprise.
Well, how about the Commanders? Yeah, we got to give them some flowers, man. Jaden Daniels. Wow. Very impressive.
What was Jaden?
Outstanding.
What pick was he? Was he the second quarterback taken?
He was 2. Yeah. Yep.
And you guys were saying, I think you guys had been saying you thought he was the better of the 2. He should have went first. I think that was you.
The second quarterback is usually always better, except for Sam Darnold's case.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. It's just the last 2 years. Bryce Young was 1 overall, then C.J. Stroud was 2. Caleb Williams hasn't looked great yet. Jaden Daniels looked very good at number 2. But Washington, they run a college offense, and it may sound like it's disrespectful, but they want to run exactly what Daniels did in college. He doesn't go under center, only shotgun, and it works for them. And the offensive coordinator is like, hey, I want to make you in the best situation and make you in the best comfortability to win football games. And he looks like he's been in the NFL for like 3 years already, and he's crazy. I'm very, very impressed with Washington.
82% completion percentage. It's crazy, man. Jaden Daniels.
Today?
Yeah. No, well, on the year, I think.
On the year.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
He broke the record last week he had a 93 or 92% completion percentage with over 20 attempts. It was a rookie record all time. And he looks smooth and calm in the pocket, and Washington is 3-1 leading the NFC East.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Good question, Chad, to take our attention away from the Bills. Great question. Yes, we appreciate that. And Keith even said this too. Keith's been talking about this all off season on the summit. He thought that CJ Stroud was going to have a little regression this year, and it seems like even though they're 3-1, they haven't looked like the team you expected when you have all those weapons. You got Steph Diggs running in a touchdown today. What about that?
Mm-hmm.
Running the ball in. But yeah, Weston, I don't know. This NFL is so tough. Like I keep going in with my weekly picks, and I feel like I got a good handle on things, and then all this craziness happens, and I don't. So
I was better this week.
We're a little better.
I was gonna honestly, and I told Brett in the show, if we didn't beat the Jags how we did, I was gonna pick the Ravens this week because I gotta get the points. I know we're not gonna win every game, so I gotta pick against the Bills sometimes, right? But then we beat the Jags so good. I was like, man, there's no way you're gonna go into Baltimore at Sunday Night Football 3-0, and then just look horrible, right? You did. So I picked the Bills, and I shouldn't have, but in my mind, I was like, oh, the Ravens would probably win this one. But I will say, I told all you guys, maybe Jessica didn't know, but the next 3-game stretch out of the Ravens, Jets, and Texans, the only team I would have been okay losing to was the Ravens because I respect them, I respect their game, and they're not a team that I hate. I hate the Jets with a passion, and I hate Houston because I know there's going to be drama with it. Not that Houston did anything, but I know there's drama associated with it, so I automatically hate them. So if we had to lose one of those 3, we got the loss out of the way. But, man, like if you come out playing like this next week, I'm sure Joe Mixon will be back. I'm sure Tank Dell will be back. So they're going to have their whole offense back. And, they're a blitz-heavy offense too, or defense as well. And, again, when you have a good offensive line, they got to blitz sometimes. So we got to have responses for blitz packages. So, man, it's going to be could be a really great couple weeks or a really bad couple weeks.
Let me ask you, Jake. I mean, this has to be one of the worst losses in the Josh Allen era, but the panel here was reminding me about a loss to the Colts. I think it was back in 2021.
I was there.
Where they just whooped us. But how did we end up that year?
Went 11-6, right? We went to so that was 2021. So we would have went to the divisional round. We lost in the 13th.
That's the 13-second game.
Yeah.
13-second game. So after a devastating loss like that, you would have been thinking the Bills aren't the team that you think they are. And look,
and it was kind of a similar manner. They just ran the football down our throats.
Exactly.
Exactly. Together at 5 total touchdowns.
Yeah, he absolutely killed it. Yeah.
The Bills adjusted and did just fine that year. And so I'm looking for a little positivity here. And yes, a game like this can happen even to a good team. I haven't seen it happen to the Chiefs. When's the last time the Chiefs got blown out? Anyone remember?
Not really a blowout, but they did lose to the Raiders last year on Christmas, and that was definitely the turning point of the season for them. I feel like Chad and Weston would definitely let us know.
It might have been the Raiders game, but then I think we beat them 38-20 in Arrowhead a couple years ago.
That's right.
So that was probably their worst loss. But other than that, they're well coached, and I thought they were going to lose this game. They were down 10-0. They lost for Rasheed Rice, and they're turning the ball over, and they made the plays.
Well, let's hope that this loss is just like the loss we had in 2021, and it motivated us to get to better more than the 13-second game. We should have won that game. What's this mean? Bills caught the belt. Like what? You got whooped by your parent with the belt? I don't know what this means.
It's similar to sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield. Last week we were the windshield. Today we're the bug.
That's right. Very well put. Yep.
Caught the belt. Puka must be my generation when parents were disciplined their boys and their girls a little too rough. Sometimes I wish that was still a thing. Sometimes
I could use a belt right now too after that. but man, I mean, we even had Nick Wright of all people.
I know.
Loving on the Bills, man. And I already know tomorrow it's going to be, well, they got the September championship. I was wrong. And here we go.
I hate that.
Oh,
yeah.
But I will say again, we're the only team, and I put it on my Facebook because I have a lot of friends that hate on the Bills, and I had to make a post about them earlier. But we're the only team that has to go 20-0, or they get criticized like it's the end of the world. Like there was a segment I told Mike earlier. They were asking who's the best team right now after 3 single weeks, and then when someone said Buffalo, everyone goes, "Whoa, pump the brakes! It's only been 3 weeks." Well, that's the name of the segment.
That's the question.
It's not about the whole year. It's about after 3 weeks of football, who's playing the best. And then, but if you said the Chiefs, if you said the Texans, nobody would bat an eye. But then when it's Buffalo brought into it, well, they didn't play nobody yet. Hold on a minute. Hold on. They didn't play nobody. They're not that good yet. They got to play the Ravens first. But it's just so frustrating because it's like, why are we the only team that isn't allowed to get praise until they win every single game? And then when they lose a game, it's, oh, they're what we thought they were. They're not that good. They never played anybody. They got their one test. Well, how about this? The Texans got a test last week, and they got waxed 34-7. But everyone still talks about the Texans like they're the best team in the league, and they're 3-1. And all they beat was the crappy Colts, the crappy Jags, and the crappy Bears. But they get all the love in the world.
So you want to know why? Do you want to know why?
Yeah.
Because we haven't gone to the Super Bowl yet in these last 5 years, and that's why they can talk down to us. It's
right.
The Bengals can do whatever they want to do. They show up in the playoff. Everybody's going to think they have a possibility of going to the Super Bowl because they have. Until we do it, that's going to be the narrative.
Yep.
Yeah, we gave all the media outlets their topic for this week. Are the Bills the most overrated team through 4 weeks? And that's what it's going to be about.
Josh will be overrated again.
Yeah, is Josh Allen overrated, right?
Lamar's better than
wrong last week. Josh is
the only
overrated.
guy that gave us a pulse in this game. I mean, this dude makes a throw that no other quarterback, I don't care. I don't think Pat Mahomes can make the throw. Guy regularly, routinely makes a throw on the run, 50 million dudes chasing after him, going out of bounds, launches at 52 yards. I mean, you show me anyone else that can make that throw in the NFL. Lamar can't make that throw.
Slides out of bounds by 5 yards.
Right. Yeah. It's just crazy.
That was crazy. Yeah, I mean,
making us feel better, Chad, and Weston. Here's Chiefs fans making us Bills fans feel a little bit better. We appreciate you.
Well,
appreciate the heck out of you too.
You guys could go 0-17 this year and it wouldn't matter because you got Super Bowls. So.
I know, right? Yeah.
You'll always be able to be happy.
The good thing about the Ravens is that they're in the AFC North, and they're going to get beaten up. The Steelers are going to hit them hard. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to hit them hard. And, of course, the Browns are going to hit them hard.
Black and blue division.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just want to be able to respond. Like, I know they're a good team, but, man, it's like we didn't get that they were going to run the football. And I don't understand that. Like, you knew that they were going to – like, the only time they didn't run the football was against the Chiefs, and Henry got, 10 carries. I don't know why. But they, were scared to run them. They wanted Lamar to throw the ball 40 times. But hey, it was obvious they were going to run the football. And, of course, the first play of the game, man, that's just – and, again, I keep thinking about that. I want to live in a different dimension where we could have saw the reality if we didn't do that trick play. What would the game been like? Would it have been? We still would have lost, but it been respectable. And then people would say, "Oh, the Bills, they put up a fight. They were away. They're good. They're still a good football team. Whatever." I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, we're never going to know the outcome. But can't be doing that anymore. I don't want to see no trick plays.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You can find out. You can find out the outcome. Just use ChatGPT. AI is there now. Just plug it in, and they'll tell you how the game would have went. They'll take you there. I just want to quickly go through some stats. We didn't talk stats, but this is probably, I don't know, Jake, you know all the stats from Josh Allen over his number of years with us, but he was 16 of 29 for 180 yards. The average was 6.2 yards, and he was sacked 3 times for 27 yards. QBR rating, I don't think you'll ever see a number like this from Josh. 32.6 QBR, and his overall passer rating was 73.9. On the other hand, you had Lamar Jackson, like I said earlier, 13 of 18 for 156, 2 touchdowns, sacked once, only for 1 yard, QBR rating of 59.9, and a passing rating of 135.4. He was fantastic. We averaged 3.5 rushing yards per carry. We carried the ball 23 times for 81 yards. And then the receivers, Khalil Shakir was our top receiver, 5 targets, 4 receptions for 62 yards, including that beautiful play that you just described, Jake, that whatever it was, 52 yards. I was thinking, get into the end zone. You're on my fantasy football team, but that didn't happen. It was a double whammy for me. I was playing against, I'm 3-0 in my league at work. I'm coming in feeling confident, and I go against the guy, and I had a shot to win. And guess who he had playing tonight? Not Lamar.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry. So you can see how that game. Keon Coleman had 3 for 51. Dalton Kincaid 5 for 47. Again, Kincaid had 7 targets. I'm not sure what's happening there. I just feel like they should be taking more advantage of him, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Jake, what's going on there?
Everybody eats, baby.
Yeah. I think that is something. No, that's true. Like this offense, we're just spreading the football around, which I like. I do like, but I do think at some point someone's going to have to be like the go-to, the guy. And whether it's Dalton Kincaid or Khalil Shakir, might be a combo of both. That's kind of what it's been. Or Keon Coleman. I think there has to be one that kind of like takes the lead there eventually. So we really don't have that yet. And that's okay, but
yeah, I know. But at some point in a game, in a game like this, or where you really need somebody, someone's got to take over a game. I know Josh Allen can take over a game, but someone's got to be. I'm looking at the stats there. Did Josh Allen lose a fumble tonight?
He did. That was on the Van Noy. Yeah.
That's on the trick play. On the trick play.
But he got it back, right?
No,
we lost it.
No.
They got it?
Yeah, they got it, and they scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that's right, on the trick. Okay, that's what makes sense. So
we're real quick,
Mike, personal foul on it, though.
Yeah, okay.
Before you go, going back to Allen, 16 for 29. I do, obviously, the Ravens pass defense first 3 weeks was rated 32 out of 32, but he had probably, 5, 6 throwaways. That defense, they play great coverage, and again, his completion percentage looked like crap because how many times did we throw the ball 50 yards downfield? Like 6, 7. Like you're not going to hit those every time. And Kincaid had 2 drops that were in his hands. It was a horrible game for Josh all around, and definitely takes a hit for the MVP. I know it's not all about the MVP, but he absolutely takes a hit on that.
Yeah, and then here's Lamar, 2-time MVP already. Gets back in it real quick. A game like this, right? Going first there.
So do we move on to the Houston Texans at this point? Just flush this thing.
Yeah, let's squash it.
Read off those defensive stats quick.
Everyone's jumped off anyway, but we'll go through the defense real quick. Dorian Williams, leading tackler with 12 tackles, 5 solos, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit. Rasul Douglas had 7 tackles. Balin Spector, 6. I thought Balin played his butt off as well as he can going in, and him and Dorian. They were putting it to Henry a few times, so love that from them. Cole Bishop got in because Taylor Rapp got hurt. I think it was concussion, so we'll have to watch that closely. But Cole Bishop came in 6 tackles. He really didn't. He didn't look out of place. It was already kind of out of hand when he came in, but I thought he played his position pretty well. It's good to see that rookie out there. So happy to see that. Benford, 4 tackles. Smoot with that personal foul. Come on, dude. It? He's not the one you guys were telling me that's known for dirty plays, is it? It's somebody. It's not him, right? There was somebody the Bills were either thinking about.
Kareem
Okay.
Kareem Jackson.
All right.
He's
All
on the
right.
practice squad, but yeah.
We should have played him today.
I know, honestly, would have been a good, yeah.
I mean, the whole
Good call
front, I thought Russo and, Von Miller wasn't even able to get in the game because they're playing Von mostly on third down plays. And,
Yeah, right.
he wasn't able to get many snaps at all. But it's going to be interesting to take a look at PFF. And again, it's a horrible game. Let's wash it from our minds. And, it'll take us 24 hours. What's the rule, Jake? 24 hours. Get over it.
24 hours.
Start talking about the next game and how we're going to come back and just whoop up on the Texans. So next week, that's coming up. That's actually, is that another? That's a 10 a.m. game.
Sunday,
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock Eastern.
I thought it was 4:25.
Is it?
No,
Let me
one.
look.
And then we
Check it
go Monday night against the Jets.
Yeah, I think it's
1
a
o'clock.
normal. It's a normal 1 o'clock game. 10 o'clock
Yeah.
first West
Yeah,
Coast.
1 o'clock.
Folks.
That does surprise me, though. You would think that would be like the Romo Nance call, right? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
That's going to be a good one. Looking forward to it. We'll have some pre-games coming up in the week. Jake, you're going to be making the summit this week?
We'll see. The wife doesn't love the time at 7:30. It's a little tougher with 2 kids now because both of them are awake and both of them are just, it's tough.
I'll tell you what. When you have a loss like this, the only person on our group that could really stand up to this type of loss is Mr. Sean Kula. I really think he's been on a little bit of a cool-off period with that show, but
I don't know if they're
Sean.
It might be time to release release the
Might
Kraken, baby. Release the Kraken. Let's go.
Well, you know where I stand.
I do. Well, listen, everybody. I mean, it's been a long night. I don't want to get into the game too much. Obviously, it's a big deal playing Steph Diggs, and we're going to talk a lot about it in this upcoming week with our pregame shows. You got the Ruthless on Saturday show. They're going to talk about it. I'm sure you're going to talk about it on the Summit show. And but Jessica, closing words for you. I'll go around the panel here. Closing thoughts.
The Bills are still in first place in the AFC East.
Yes.
And that's not going to change until possibly we play the Jets in the Meadowlands.
Love it. That's very true. Mr. Podger, closing words for you, my friend.
Love that, Jess. Yeah, we'll take our lashings right now. Okay, we'll get right. This is an embarrassment on national television for sure. I'm sure the players aren't taking this very well, but we're going to respond. And if we go out on Sunday and we get a major victory against the Houston Texans, this will start to be water under the bridge. So we'll right the ship. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. We'll take our lashings. At the end of the day, we are still first in the AFC East, and all you need to do to get to the playoffs, a guaranteed way to get to the playoffs, is win your division. So
yes, I love
we're still doing that.
Yes. So Chad bringing in some numbers for us. 8-10 winning percentage for the Chiefs since 47-11 since the blowout loss to Tennessee in 2021. Losses. What do you say here?
3 of those losses are to the Bills.
Yeah, how about that? That is,
right.
Yeah.
And losses like this can change everything. Yes, they can. So, Sean, closing thoughts from you, my friend.
Yeah, it can change everything. I always say, and it sometimes could be proven wrong, but good teams don't lose 2 games in a row. I know the Baltimore Ravens lost 2 games in a row. Now they won 2 games in a row, but that's just my philosophy on it. Really good teams don't lose 2 games in a row. So are we going to be that team that takes a beating and then sulks and doesn't hit the lab? And they should be watching film right now. Like, I know they just got waxed, but you should be that serious about the game where you're in the lab ready to go and trying to get better for next week. And you'll see on the field next week how they responded. And it's a momentum. Again, it's pivotal for the coaching staff and for the players, because you could take a loss. You're never going to win. Nobody's going to go 20-0. So we took our loss now. You have to learn from it. Don't become that team that now that you may have gotten figured out, and then now you just don't know what to do anymore. Stick to your guns and just go back to your roots. And you got a big game against Houston. This is also a playoff implication game because they're 3-1. We're 3-1. They're probably going to win their division, I'm assuming, when everyone's 0-4 in their division, besides the Colts. So you want to win against them on the road to get yourself back into the team you believe you are. So we'll see.
Yeah, Puka. Josh is still a Superman for sure. He put his cape on there. Almost thought he was gonna, take us to the promised land. Of course, for that trick play. There's my fourth time talking about that trick play.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I'll say this real quick,
Yeah.
Mike. I've never seen a quarterback physically and mentally bully another team like Josh Allen can do. Like I just like the guy's just out there just constantly giving stiff arms to all these DBs. Like that's got to be so annoying.
And it was with his left hand that's injured.
Right.
The hand that's
It's
injured
crazy.
too. Giving
the
it
guy
his
is
all.
a psycho. I love it. Yeah.
Well, for me, like I said, I've been a fan for many, 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 many years, way too many years, and I've seen these type of things happen. And yes, we will bounce back. And tonight, my son, up until this game, he was 0-2 watching his Ravens play the Buffalo Bills, and he took it pretty well, those two losses, and he took the win pretty well. But I'm going to go give him his flowers, see if he wants a little treat to celebrate his victory. But he's also kind. He's like, Dad, I feel so bad for you. He always has a soft spot for his dad when he sees that I'm sad. And he'll even ask me, Dad, you need to go for a walk? I'll walk with you. Anyhow, we'll be back. I'm expecting a big game next week. And thank you all for joining us out there in the channel. Once again, Chad the Chief with the super chat. Thank you so much, Weston. Great to see you. Everybody else.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Couldn't do this without you. And like I
Absolutely.
said, I feel a little better. These people made me feel a little better, and we appreciate it. So everyone, we'll see you soon. Until then, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.